Hi guys, welcome back to all of you. Today we are going to discuss another story. It's very interesting, which is named James and the Giant Peach. So let's speak on. James Harry Trottle lived with his parents in a cozy house by the sea when one day a terrible thing happened and angry rhinoceros gobbled up his mom and dad. James went to sea with his two ruthless aunts, Spiker and Sponge, who thought he was sent to live with them for one purpose only: work, work, work. It was a sad existence on top of that barren hill with its old peach tree. One day James noticed a beautiful spider's web in his window. He climbed up and offered it his hand for the spider to crawl upon. He drew a picture of New York and then folded his drawing into a paper balloon and set it adrift into the night sky. Next morning he bolted from his bedroom with the spider as Aunt Sponge entered with this insect spray. James ran as fast as he could down the hill, where he set the spider free. Then he looked up to find a mysterious old man laying on the stone wall. What would you say if I was to tell you that all answers to problems are right here in this little bag? The old man extended his hand, and there was a tiny paper balloons with a crayon drawing of New York on it. It was the balloon James had set sail from his window the night before. James peered inside and saw some green curly worms. The old man said that if James looked back, marvelous thing would happen. So he snatched it and ran up the hills, but then spilled the green things beneath the rotting peach tree. Very soon, on the highest branch of the tree, a peach started to grow. It grew and grew until it was the size of a small house. One night, James buried his face into the peach and devoured the tasty fruit as fast as he could. He noticed that the hole he had made was getting wider and wider. So he crawled in. As James got nearer to the stone, he heard voices and leaned forward to get a better look. He slipped and found himself surrounded by the six huge insects: a ladybird, a glowworm, a spider, and a green grasshopper. "There is no need to frighten," said the kind ladybird. "Let's get out here," yelled the centipede. Outside, Spiker and Sponge were searching for James when they heard a loud snap followed by a rumble. The centipede had chewed through the stem. The peach broke away and began to pick up speed, flattening Spiker and the Sponge car like a pancake. It kept rolling until it launched off a cliff and kerploosh. The peach was floating in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. What were they meant to do now? They all turned to the James to the answer. "I think I know where we were supposed to go." But James said excitedly, "To New York." "Because you like New York?" "I'll just get us there," proclaimed the centipede. "But I have sailed all the seas." We could attach the beach to those seagulls. James told to others. At that moment, a gigantic shark here and appeared. It was charging right for them. They had to think fast. We'll just miss. Spider web for a net and earthworm as bait, said James. Miss Spider tossed her web up the hack, and the centipede grabbed the earthworm and swung him around like a wet towel. At the once, the entire flock of seagulls swooped down toward the beach. At the last possible moment, the centipede leaped safely into the beach with the earthworm. James threw the net around the birds, and they quickly lost them all as the beast soared into the sky. The shark harpooned it to stop it getting away. James and his friend threw his harp back into the shark's jaws and it exploded into the tiny birds. The night James dreamed about Spiker and Sponge. Sponge blasted him with a cloud from her insect spray and it turned into the rhinoceros which had killed his parents. It came charging toward him and burst into the million pieces like tiny flakes of snow. James awakes to real snowflakes. They had drifted into the frozen Atlantic, whose water was littered with sunken ships. The grasshopper was furious. The centipede fell asleep at the helm. He barked without a compass. They would never find their way out. Kerplunk, before they knew it, the centipede had jumped into the freezing water. I have to go after him. I have to go after him. The spider gave James a lift on her back. Meanwhile, the centipede grabbed a ship's compass, but some Peter skeleton grabbed him the compass. James and the spider snatched the compass back and were pulled up to the surface, but the centipede got left behind. Everyone was delighted they now had a compass, but very sad to lose such a brave friend. At that moment, a pirate's sword slides through the water. It was Mr. Centipede. He was alive. That evening, James was sitting on the fence which had wrapped itself around the beach when he heard the grasshoppers playing with the violin. This made him think about his parents. He left so alone without them. All of his insect friends gathered around him. We are family, they told him. Then the clouds poured and a city appeared below New York. They exclaimed, but the clouds transformed into James' worst nightmare. The rhino, you are just a lot of smoke and noisy. I'm not afraid of you anymore, James shouted. The rhino exploded and the fence ripped through the strings. The seagull flew away over the insects and James and the beach rushed toward the ground. Blum! The beach landed on the top of the Empire State Building. The police towed it to the ground where lots of people were gathered. When the crowd spotted James, Spiker, and Sponge, they charged after him, but the insects came to the rescue. The ants backed away. And James lost them with Miss Spider's threat. They put the beach stone in Central Park, and the people came to see it and they hear of their magnificent adventures. This is the biggest picture of that all about the story. James Henry Trotter, who once was the saddest little boy you could find now and had all the friends in the world,